Hey, welcome to Sense episode 95. It is May 14th, 2017, and this is the Live Undoctored weekly news show we do here at Dollar Views. We cover tech, TV, movies, streaming, VR, sometimes video games, some of the common threads that we have, usually China entering the global entertainment world, virtual reality, as I said. So what else, Steve?
Ni hao.
Meow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said China. I was like, oh shit, there's one I haven't done. Okay. And I don't even think I did it right, but
We did politics for a while. We tried lots of different things, and this is probably the fifth to last episode we're doing. We talked about it before the show. 100 just sounds right. I'm Brian Gillis. I'm here with Stephen Mominex, who already said hello. I'm gonna try another one.
I, I don't know. Nah,
Just save it for next week.
Yeah, I'll save. I
Save
mean,
it.
I've only got what, like four or five
Five
more
more.
of these.
Yeah, four more, five more.
Shoot, yeah. I can try doing it in binary. I don't know.
Yeah, don't
Zero
do that.
zero 110 0 exclamation
know.
point
I don't.
dash.
I don't
I
know
don't know.
binary. I know a binary joke though. I know that there's only 10 ways to answer a question.
And how's that?
1-0 is binary for two, so it's a yes/no answer.
It's a slow
stupid.
start now. Yeah.
It's a geek joke.
Let's move
Yeah.
on.
Anyway, we've done a lot of stuff on the show, and it's starting to weigh us down. We do have jobs, we do have lives, and we also want to be filmmakers. And so every week following the news gets harder and harder, especially because the news never ends. There's never going to be an actual stopping point. So 100 sounds right. And if you're listening right now, Evelyn, and you feel like your $5 a month is going wasted, talk to us. We'll work something out. Evelyn is our sole Patreon supporter. She's been supporting us for about a week now, which is awesome. So thank you. And if you'd like to support us also, you can go to patreon.com/dollarviews. Lots of price points there. They're mostly relevant to our other shows, Dollar Reviews, Debt to Cinema, which we'll be talking about later. But some of the things we can do for you is money could be spent on advertising on this show. If it's going to die, that might be a little different. That might have to change. But talk to us anyway. Maybe we could put ad spots on our other shows instead. But we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WordPress, Tumblr, Google Play Music, iTunes, Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud. So if you want to listen to our other shows, there's lots of ways to do that. If you found this show in any of those ways, give us a like, a follow, a comment, anything you want to do. Tell your friend. Anything helps. It really does, because we're trying to gain momentum, even if we're off to a slow start, like Steve said. Let's start the week. We're going to do some follow-up real fast, some things that happened this week that are actually continuations of things that have happened in the past. The big one, in my opinion, probably the coolest thing this week that isn't a big headline, is that Google acquired Alchemy Labs, who most people aren't familiar with the name of, but they have made some of the bigger virtual reality things, and they pretty much have kind of made the only funny things in VR that everyone claims is. Job Simulator is their big title. That's on every VR platform. It's really hilarious. I have it. There's actually gameplay that you can see that I recorded live from twitch.tv. I also have it broadcast archived on our YouTube. That's youtube.com/dollarview. And they also did the recent Rick and Morty virtual reality thing. What's cool about this is, since Google does not believe really in exclusives, unlike Oculus, that they're already still currently working on games or experiences for all the platforms, hopefully porting the Rick and Morty thing to PSVR, even though I'm not a fan of the show, but lots of people that have PlayStation 4 are. And I hope that this is just money in their pocket, that they don't have to worry, since they were an independent studio, of financing or staying in business, that they have Alphabet's little Google that can backing them. Perhaps they'll be doing Daydream stuff. I wouldn't doubt that it will be exclusive in the future. But this is really cool because Tilt Brush is something that Google also backed, and that's one of the biggest VR experience creation tools on the planet currently. So they got a big foot with Google Cardboard and also Google Daydream, that they're starting to do studios too, which complement their storytelling abilities that they have. So pretty cool. If I were you, Steve, I would check out Job Simulator, or check out my video.
On that front, I have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you especially. Geez, me, it's. Yeah, where does the time go? Because it's like you try to use as much of it as you can, and then you never have enough.
I don't have enough for this show. That's why it's ending in 5
Yeah,
weeks.
it's true.
It's like, that's why I was asking about Comic-Con before the show. I went, How far is that off? I would like to
Is
end
that going
with
to be there
Comic
for the
Con.
close? Like, yeah, I don't
It's
know.
like one way to do this show instead is instead of making a weekly chronicle of all the news, especially like a week this in terms of this week, which is a fairly slow one.
You can do it
It's like
bi-weekly at this point, I
no,
think,
fuck
right?
that. Like, how about only when the news is relevant enough to actually talk about it? Like, like that kind of idea, perhaps. Because I just, after working so much this week and my work week's not even over,
Hmm.
to that how much I talk on the job to now talk for, we've already talked for an hour plus, and now to talk for like maybe another hour
Well,
plus.
then you can do like a Comic-Con wrap-up exclusive podcast where there's like a whole roundtable, around. It's more than just the two of us.
Which what I think is more likely, to be honest, is that, currently, one of the Patreon things, if you support us in any capacity, you get our show notes. I have our show notes for like the last year and a half. Since I love reading these news items anyway, and I create the show's notes. I could just publish them either on our website or somewhere else. And then if you want my 2 cents on the news, you could just read that instead of having to listen to it. Because I, if you are listening, tell me if I'm wrong, but I doubt anyone's ever listened to the entirety of more than one 2 cents episode.
Someone actually has listened to three that I know of.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. If you're listening now, definitely thank you. Thank your lucky stars for listening to our voices as much as you
Which
do.
is good
Uh,
feedback because I'm like, well, basically on everything that we do, if we get positive feedback of like, oh, that's a good episode,
mhm.
I'm like, wow, well, thank you because I can't fucking stand the sound of my own voice. I really can't.
I,
Like, it is
I'm
difficult.
narcissistic enough that I love the sound of my own voice. That's why I just
I
stepped
Yeah,
over
I
you.
can tell you love to talk a lot. Yeah, see, I can't stand it. Like editing is a chore for me. I feel like why did I say that? I sound so freaking dumb when I say that. Then
Uh,
someone will listen like to the Tears of Endearment episode. It's like no, I actually like how you put that. How it captures like just different phases of life and all that. And I was like, oh really? Like you thought that was cool? Okay, fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird for me listening to myself talk. Because I'm always like,
that's
yeah,
fair.
does my voice sound like that? Not the best profession I want to get into, is it?
Probably not.
Yeah, no, it's fun to talk though.
If you like talking, especially to yourself, they actually have speakers that you can put in your house, and Amazon owns one. They have their Alexa brand, which is huge. It's also called the Echo. Alexa powered the Echo. And if you don't know what this is, which is very doubtable because it's the internet, it's basically
It's been
Siri.
around for
That's the
what, almost
speaker.
2 years now?
Something like that.
Definitely over a year.
A long time, and it's a big line. Echo started as just like a tower, and then they added the Echo Look this past week, which is basically a clueless type camera that can rate your wardrobe. They got all kinds of different ones. Echo Dot, Echo, like they have like alarm clock size. And the latest of the family, which just joined Amazon.com, is the Echo Show, and it's exactly what you think it is. It's an Echo that you can actually see things on. So it has a touchscreen, and so now you can watch videos on YouTube or Amazon Video or whatever it is, Hulu probably eventually. You can do video calls where you literally just drop in on someone, so it's kind of like FaceTiming, but you don't. I don't know. You can watch the video online. It looks like a pretty interesting device. It connects your smartphone just like the Echo does, so you can go, "Hey Alexa, turn the lights off. Alexa, let me see the baby's room. Alexa, why don't you order me some more diapers?" Like you can literally use all of Amazon from your voice, and then you can also see things like weather reports and watch movies, which I don't know why you would do it on something this small. It's just it's more than just voice capability. It's a way to literally see what's going on, and it's priced pretty well too. It's $230 for one or 360 for two. So you could use it in your house as like an intercom, basically. You could buy one for your parents, so you can call them without having like you do hands free. Like I said, check out the video. It's really cool. I do like, given how Amazon has kind of had a a slow start with their Internet of Things devices, that the Echo line has proven really successful because people just forgot about the Fire phone. That died.
Yeah.
The Kindle's still around, but almost never, no one ever really talks about the Fire tablets because, like, what's the point? It's like a watered down Android tablet in the first place. But if I did have a house of my own, I was a little older and I had some Internet of Things devices, which I would probably have like Sonos speakers so I could pick which music I have in specific rooms, dim my lights without having to stand up, all that kind of stuff.
It's basically you setting up your own smart house, right?
Yeah, so I would probably have an Echo Show. Like it does sound out of like it would be nice to have something else, like maybe like in your living room you just have a standard Echo that because it's not necessary to see it. But yeah, like on your bed side table on your nightstand, instead of having an alarm clock, you have this little tablet esque device where you can see everything you need. Like you'd be like, hey, what are some movie show times? Like literally all of the tools that Siri or OK Google can do for you. And at the same time, you can see it, and it has more functionality built into that. And it's cheap for $230. If you think about it, like a tablet's that price, and this is a tablet that is also a digital assistant. So, pretty cool.
Nice.
Something way better though in terms of Amazon, and this is gonna set up. Oh, I lost my show notes. No, no, no. This is kind of a continuation. Like I said, this is follow up for what we were talking about last week. We were listing towards the later end of the episode, like Netflix versus Amazon. Why wouldn't you want Amazon? Then we got in that conversation about like Amazon versus Costco and like how the membership really has like 1,000 different things. You can do Amazon Prime, and if you're a Prime member, you have their videos, you have their music, you have Twitch Prime, you have grocery, you have Prime Now, you have this, you have that. Like it's literally an endless type of list. And the latest thing that they actually added now is called Amazon Prime live events, and this is something that was rumored a couple months ago. I didn't report on it because hey, it wasn't proven. As of right now, this is just in the UK, but is undoubtedly going to come stateside, just like the Amazon Tickets firm that this is based on. So it's exactly what you think about. It's live events, in this case concerts, that are exclusive to Prime members. So it's going to be, I think it already started actually this past weekend. And for the next couple of weeks, there's going to be private events only for Prime members. The tickets are sold through Amazon Tickets. All of the concerts are going to be filmed for Prime Video consumption. And I'm going to assume, ideally, that the recordings of said shows are also going to be available on Prime Music. Which, in doing my research on this, I remembered that there's two levels of music subscriptions on Amazon. There's Prime Music, which is free for Prime members, and then there's Music Unlimited, which even Prime members have to pay an additional fee for, which is their Spotify clone. I totally forgot about that. So weird. It's like the one thing that they haven't got right. There should be one. Like raise the Prime fee by $10 a year and get rid of that. Like that, I don't. It's weird because it's
Yeah, that
even
is weird.
it's even stranger than that. Because if you're a Prime member, I think you pay $8 a month for the unlimited music. If you're not a Prime member, it's like $12.
Hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see what they do with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this comes stateside, this would be a huge get. Because look at, in terms of like the American Express early bird tickets that you can do for certain shows, or that's like the only thing I can think
There's
of.
no
Or like
reason
when
for it not to come here. It's just
yeah,
unless it for whatever reason happens to be not big in the UK,
it's
which I
gonna be
doubt.
big.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I
the
don't know. Like,
shows they have Blondie, that's the big one, and they have a couple other ones. So like yeah, I could see, since Garth Brooks already has a relationship with Amazon, exclusive Garth Brooks concert like Madison Square Garden or something. But that's not exactly the event that they're going for. Most of the whatchamacallit, most of the shoot the locations here, most of the theaters or whatever are more nuanced. Like this isn't huge. This is an arena. The idea here is you're a special part of our family. You're a Prime member. It's not exclusive, but it almost is in certain ways. Here is a like night side, like campfire, or like fireside chat type thing. Like here's a small show for something that you might like. So I don't know which way this is going to go. But it could kind of revitalize music, because Apple does the same thing. They have their Apple Music Festival, and then I think that this is kind of like this more downtrodden version of what festivals are kind of becoming. Like or not just festivals, like concerts in general. Like it's such a big deal that it kind of fits into what I was saying last week about Amazon Prime members being a certain kind of clientele, that maybe if there's some kind of hand-selected live events, I don't think they're going to stop at just music. If they're doing like plays maybe, or maybe like special movie screenings, like how cool would it be if you could, as a Prime member, get a ticket for the world premiere of an Amazon Studios film? You know?
that's not unlikely. Jeez, I'm sorry. They really are taking over the world now. It's scary.
Yeah. I
And I stick to it. The circle comparison I keep making, less and less crazy now that I think about it.
I still wouldn't know, but
This is not directly for that, but I'm just like, yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of that ilk. It's kind of messed up.
I just think everyone's going to go for something like this in the near future. That
Oh yeah.
there's going to be in
There's
kind of the
too
same
much of an
way.
incentive as from a consumer perspective to
Yeah,
not get it. I mean, if you pay the like if the price still stays the same right now, then it's like, hey, you get free 2-day shipping for a year, and that's enough. And then you get all this other shit on top of that. It's like, I mean, that's I don't know. I assume that the price would change at some point, but
it's going
that
to
is one
change
thing that's
probably
kind
in
of
the next
nice.
year.
Yeah, that is one thing that's kind of nice about having Prime Instant Video is that I don't know about you, but like when I was paying for a Netflix subscription, there would be that incentive or just that kind of unnecessary stress to just kind of like hammer out all this shit like as much as I can, get the most out of my dollar. Now I kind of just use Prime whenever I feel like it, which is probably like once a month maybe or twice a month because usually I'm just using it for shipping, and that's enough. And then all this other stuff is a nice bonus.
Like if you strictly watch movies and TV and you don't care about what Amazon can sell you as a digital goods retailer,
Hmm.
it's still a bargain
Yeah,
because
just
it's a
have a
hundred
monthly
dollars
fee,
a year, which is less than $10 a month, which is
and
why
you're
I think
likely
that
to
they're
use all the
probably
other stuff anyway.
yeah, but which is why I think it's likely that they're gonna jump up to 120 soon, just because that just makes more sense from a mathematical standpoint. It's like
Please don't
literally
do it before July. Please
they're
don't.
they're just $10 a month is easy. That's an easy
Hmm.
sell. That's the price of Amazon monthly. That's the price of Netflix. That's the price of Hulu. Like that's the price of Spotify. Like $10 is easy for anyone. That's
Hmm.
well, it depends where you live, but minimum wage that's 1 hour work.
Yeah.
It's not such a bad rap, and so for less than the price of Amazon for Netflix for a whole year, you can get an even larger movie library and even more TV shows and more exclusives, plus like these ticket events and stuff. And the only downside is you don't have the Disney content and you don't have the exclusive stuff like Aziz Ansari's Master of None, which I binged a couple of days ago, and I'll be talking about on our next episode of Dollar Reviews. So good,
By
second
the way,
season,
what
so
is
good.
that going to be?
I don't know.
We got to talk
I'm sure
about that.
whatever. It's hard. It's what
Yeah.
it's like that's the other thing about this show. Doing the news makes it harder to do reviews because in the amount of time that we're doing right now, we could be watching a movie and
Hmm.
actually be recording one. Like
Yeah.
it subverts our the amount of content we can put out because it's so designated just the time allotment to doing
We
this.
don't have enough of a staff to really get this stuff managed either.
Right.
Yeah.
And Legendary doesn't have a staff either. About 4 months after Thomas Tull left Legendary, Peter Lorre, the head of their Legendary East, aka China Wing, has also left his post. What's scary about this is Wanda, a Chinese company, spent $3.5 billion on Legendary, and since the acquisition,
All
nothing's
the
really
guys are
come from
leaving.
it. Yeah, their bigwigs are leaving, so they don't have anyone running the company anymore, and they're also not putting out good movies necessarily. So, I did they waste their money? They got Pacific Rim coming whenever that lands,
I think
but
it's next year, I think.
outside of that, I can't. I don't know what happened here. Like I
Like,
do you
has there
think
been a
maybe
trailer for something that Legendary is putting out that I just haven't seen? Because I've
I mean,
not seen that logo all year, I think.
did they do King Kong?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And they got Godzilla, but, what else is there?
I mean, they don't own. Well, they don't work with Warner Brothers anymore on the DC stuff. I don't believe. Um, they're not working with Christopher Nolan anymore. Like
No.
they're not what they used to be. When they made this deal, it was a big get for them. They were still on top of the world. Like they were still making some of the bigger blockbusters out. But now it's like maybe people are jumping ship because they know like it's in the cards. Like look how fucking badly King Arthur failed this month. Or like I saw that coming. I think everyone saw that coming. If you saw that
Oh, yeah.
trailer, you just saw it looked like
I
it
just
looked like
didn't
something
see
no one wants to see.
anything. And, like, it just didn't sound like something that everyone was begging for, and no one was talking about it. So, I mean, yeah, like, just,
I mean,
I
something
Guy
like
Ritchie's kind of a tainted name at the same time, too, even though I kind of like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. even that I was just kind of like, you know.
Yes, yeah, we got an episode for that. It was just that was wasted potential for how
Yeah.
stylized that movie was as a TV show adaptation, which came out like the same week or 2 weeks after or before Mission Impossible. Like, which one
Yeah.
do you want to see? You want to see Tom Cruise or you want to see Superman that can't fly? Like,
Tom Cruise hanging off a real jet as it
yeah,
takes off, which was the huge selling point of that.
the selling point I believe for Man from Uncle was, hey, do you want to see Alicia Vikander like almost naked?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can see Ex Machina and I can see her actually naked.
Hmm.
So I don't know. What is the selling point? Um, yeah, I hope Legendary can turn around as much as because this is the first time Wanda's been on the show in I don't know how long, months,
I want to say
like months and
summer.
months and months.
Last
Yeah,
summer,
like
actually.
I think the last time they were brought up is when they bought Dick Clark Productions. But
Didn't they get Odeon as well?
yeah, well, it's
So
like
that may have been around October or November.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
it was the end of the year. But we just don't talk about Wanda anymore, and now we're talking about them like not in a good way. They're not making moves. Like the real thing that they have going for them still is that they are making their theater, not their theater. Well, they're making that too, but they're making their movie studio where they're going to get a lot of people filming there because it's going to be super cheap, and they're trying to make the
Maybe
town
that's
that
what
it's
they're doing
in.
with Legendary is using that as a banner. Like just
Maybe
making it a studio and having Legendary a Wanda company, you know?
we'll see. I wouldn't put it past them having that logo change, like in the same way that everyone else does it. Like, ooh,
You
NBC
still want the
Universal,
brand though. What
Comcast.
would be the point of acquiring it if you don't use it?
Well, I'm saying use the brand, but literally under Legendary, like you said, it says a Wanda company.
You can change the studio logo, but like the official company logo, would you change that? Really?
No. I actually
No.
saw someone wearing a Legendary. Oh, it was on TV, but I saw someone wearing a Legendary Pictures shirt. I was like, who would buy that? I mean, it's a cool logo.
Someone that like intern there maybe?
I don't know, but I saw this shirt and I went like my first thought was literally, where'd you even get that? You had to go to their website. It's
Yeah.
not like you're gonna go on Amazon. Legendary T-shirt. Kind of funny to think about. The last little follow up we got here, and this is going to lead right into the headline, is about you remember that Amazon Film Festival Stars program a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially what this is uh, starting at Sundance this year, they got 15 people to sign up. They've added another 40 at South by Southwest this year. And how this works is if you're in a festival and you don't get a big deal, you can sign with Amazon where you have 48 months. No, is it 48 months? No, 24 months of exclusive streaming only on Prime, but you have to be added to the Prime library within, I believe it's 20 months from when you sign. And you get a bonus and you get this. And the idea essentially is Amazon trying to rekindle the independent film movement of the early 90s by giving these films that are worthy of being screened in acclaimed festivals a platform instead of just like disappearing into the ether. So like I said, 15 from Sundance, fucking 40 from South by Southwest, including the grand jury winning Most Beautiful Island. So they're getting good movies. They already have offers out for Toronto and Tribeca. I wouldn't be surprised if they get like another 40 or 50 in the next 2 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if Cannes selections end up on Amazon this way. Like they're a much more frugal industry, except they have the money to spend. Like it's crazy to think about because I don't think any of these are necessarily going to get theatrical runs. This is more
Hmm.
of just, hey, don't you want people to see your movies? You made something, you put all this time and money into it. Don't you want an audience? We can give you that audience. I'm still not sure how they would put this in on Amazon Prime Video. Maybe there's like a our festival selection series or whatever. The film festival stars. Because Netflix has that issue where there's so many things that you lose it all. Like it
Hmm.
doesn't matter how many good things are out there. Maybe that's what we do. We do the Macon Blair film that's supposed to be pretty good. That stars Elijah Wood and Lynn. What's her name? Linsicki.
I have no idea.
I like when I texted you the other day. It was one of the choices. It's like I don't feel at home in the world today or
Yeah, I
whatever.
forget what.
It's a really weird title.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. 'Cause I want to see something weird, and that's one of those Netflix movies that no one's talking about. And I don't know, it's kind of fun to review.
All right then.
Yeah, but powered Amazon. You can watch this one on your Amazon Look in the future, which would be fun. I'm sure people are already thinking about doing that. I'm sure there's like questions on Amazon. If you go on there, it's like, can you watch movies? It's like, why would you want to watch a movie on a Echo Show? But then again, when people watch movies on their phones, like literally this week, one of the big news items that doesn't really fit anywhere in the show, so it's gonna go here, is that the LG G6 is the first smartphone that you can watch Netflix in HDR on.
Yay.
It's cool that a phone has HDR.
It's a
That one
stepping
in
stone.
particular has Dolby Vision, which is unheard of. So,
Give it
that's
like
cool.
3 years and every phone will be like that.
No, no. Like,
7 years.
well, in 7 years, they're not going to have phones anymore.
All right, fine. 5. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think it's like a niche. In the same way that 4K displays aren't going to be on every phone because they're not on every phone now.
Mm.
Like even next year, by the time the next flagships roll around, I doubt even those flagships are going to have 4K HDR, despite Sony already doing that. Like they have Quad HD currently, or they have like less bezel, but they still don't have like a resolution that makes sense.
Hmm.
It's hard to think about the future when the present is so fucked up from the technological standpoint. I, like Kanye West did it not too long back, where he had like art installations where he had film that was shot in landscape mode. I mean, not landscape, in portrait mode and cell phone mode,
Hmm.
and I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility of filmmaking going that orientation
I know
strictly for the smartphone revolution.
people have tried that. They've tried doing like what's it called vertical cinema.
Yeah.
Some along those lines. Like it's sure, I guess. I guess I'm just not one of those people that gets the appeal.
The appeal is, hey, you're holding your
Not the
fucking
personal
cell
appeal. I
phone.
see why
Yeah.
people would go for it, but like, yeah, I'm not one of those people that would be on that bandwagon.
I mean, we were talking about this before, how Netflix is probably going to convert their films into that. It's not called pan
Yeah,
and
like
scan. It's called
a specific ratio for tilt and scan.
yeah. It's
Right.
like tilt and scan. Fucking stupid. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen, and it's gonna
yeah, of
happen
course
so
it will.
fast that we're just gonna go, oh wait, this wasn't always a thing. Kids are gonna think that
Yeah,
way in the
and
same way
then
like
as soon
full
as pan
screen
and
movies.
scan or tilt and scan will go away just like pan and scan did, and we'll be like, why the fuck did this happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people still watch full screen. I'm sure either their DVDs or the VHS copies, or the Academy ratio,
Well, old
because
movies
they're
that are
still
like
watching
that,
old
yeah,
movies.
sure, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that because it's at least the full ratio. And that's part of the beauty of the world now is that we can watch things in so many ratios. Just with a wider format, it makes it easier to do that. Um, but yeah, I mean, just vertical, I don't know. My eyes are they're side by side. They're not top to bottom, so it doesn't really work well for that.
I mean, I hold my burrito top to bottom. My hands are side to side. What are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. You know how many pieces of food are shaped top to bottom? I don't know where I'm going with that. Here's a little ad break because I'm tired. Have you ever had a flat tire on the freeway? Perhaps you're on the way to a medical emergency and you just couldn't get there. You open your trunk, there's no jack, there's no spare, there's no lugs. What are you gonna do? Call Happy Tow. Happy Tow will get there in a jiff. We could do that for your business. It would be a lot better. You would write a script, or we'd write a script for you. We would sell it for our audience. It's easy.
Dial 555-6798. Happy till.
That's
Yeah.
way too many numbers.
That's 8 numbers. That's 7 numbers. That's a phone number,
You
right?
know, you said like 7 numbers and then Happy
Five five
Tow.
five six seven eight.
No, it should be like 1-800 Happy Tow.
All right, yeah, sure. If you want me to include the area code before then yeah,
No,
sure.
it's a one. There's no area. It's a
Happy
one.
Toe. No, Happy Toe is like 8 numbers, isn't that?
It would be a
That
it would
that
be a
doesn't
one
work.
eight hundred number though. They should bring those
Yes.
back. Like I miss those commercials. Like 1-800 dial like AT&T.
Do you not even on YouTube ads? Do you not get those even if they're local? Because I still do. Like I get like
Mm,
local car stuff here before
no,
YouTube.
because like one eight
Because
hundred
it is
numbers don't.
regionally set for that.
Yeah, 1-800 numbers don't really exist anymore. I mean, they do, but they don't exist in the way that they used to because
No.
phones don't have the number. Even though, well, it's a couple things, but like phone number pads don't have letters on them anymore. And so if you called out like, "Oh, it's 1-800 game" or something like that,
Hmm.
like, most people don't know what those buttons correlate to, which is silly to think about. But it's true. But like I miss those Carrot Top commercials. It's like you need to call collect, dial right down the middle. Like literally call ATT.
What is it? 1855 CALATT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was great marketing.
God. Yeah, it worked. It totally worked.
I used it, definitely used it. Like
Yeah, same
every once
here.
in a while, you had to use a collect call, and you knew how
Yeah,
to
like
dial that fucking
back in the
one.
day, when you were out and there were no cell phones yet, and you needed to
Well,
call
there,
mom and dad and let
or
them know where you
rather,
were.
we didn't have cell phones because they were very
They were just
expensive.
payphones. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They
yeah.
weren't even color yet. I remember when color flip phones were a big deal.
Still kind of a big deal.
Flip
I
phones.
think I was talking to my aunt about it. Like, she doesn't know how to use her iPhone. Like, it's not that she's incompetent. It's just no one sat down with her. This is a smartphone. This is how this does this. This is how you do
Mm-hmm.
this. And so, like, she wants to listen to our podcast, except she's not savvy enough to actually find it. And so I was telling her, like, you can buy cell phones still that aren't smartphones, that are just buttons, you know? You can't play games, can't watch movies. It just answers calls. You can text. That's it.
I'm
That's the purpose.
terrified to to introduce my grandparents to this, just because I'm like, yeah, it's not G-rated, and they don't like me doing the cussing. My
I mean,
uncle texted me today though, actually, and asked me what the name of the podcast was, and I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I found it. Thanks." I was like, "Well, shit,
yeah,
was that good? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know what he listened to after that, but
this show in particular is pretty PG-13 rated. Like, we don't go into bad words. Like, we don't get outlandish. We're not talking about abortions and blood and holy fucking shit, that was nothing. Like, that's
I
not this
hate
show.
how much I cuss, and I don't even it just naturally ends up coming out, and I really hate that actually. That's something I keep trying to do is to censor myself more. Like I actually go out of my way while editing to see if I can drop out a slur that if I can make it fit organically or if it's uncuttable, which most of the time it is because I can't edit myself at all. Like editing myself is a nightmare because I talk so fast. You are easy to edit for.
Thank you.
Like that's no, that's actually a good thing. It's easy to drop all the uhs that you have while you're talking.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a live show, guys.
No,
Uh,
well, yeah, here it's different, but on the other podcasts, yeah, it's a lot easier.
Moving on to the headlines, and these are really interesting, especially because the last one, the Amazon Film Stars, leads right into this. This is best thing this week, the most interesting, and it's especially because you have some kind of relationship to this. Um, it's of note that this is going to be related to our next Deaths of Cinema selection, so listen up. Hope it perks up your ears. Because French theatrical exhibitors are a bunch of crybabies, they are, and this is something I learned this week, they literally demand a 36-month window until streaming. Films selected from now on, until the end of time, assumed, are going to require a theatrical run in French Fry Land if they're going to be selected for Cannes. And this relates to two films in the running for Palme d'Or being Netflix streaming titles, and one of them being an Amazon movie. So Amazon wasn't a big deal, but after this year, and heaven forbid one of these Netflix movies wins the coveted prize, you're gonna have to do a French release.
That's not bad. I mean, they
It's
really,
not no, it's
really
not
care
bad,
about
but
the theatrical experience. They were apprehensive to just bringing Netflix in. Yeah, they
Netflix
really like their theaters. Quite
Netflix
a few
isn't the
people there
enemy.
still go to the cinema.
The reason Netflix movies don't play in cinema isn't because Netflix doesn't want to do it or they think it's a lost cause. It's because theatrical exhibitors don't want to play their movies. Like, don't you remember when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2 came out? Everyone was like, "Fuck you guys, we're not playing that." What
Well,
do
I
you
think
mean you
they
want to
want,
do a
yeah,
day
that's
and
because they
date?
wanted to do it in IMAX at the same time as Netflix, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, Beast with No Nation, some indie theaters signed on with that, and then afterwards,
Well, they have a
Netflix just
deal.
doesn't really do anything with anybody now.
they have a deal with iPix. They have it every year, mostly for their award contenders, because anything that is eligible to be Oscar nominated needs a theatrical run on a certain amount of screens by the end of the year. So they have this in play. It's just all the major outlets, AMC, Edwards, like anyone, Cinemark, Pacific Theaters, they won't deal with Netflix. Amazon's no problem. They have those routes somehow. But Netflix has become competition because they see them that way. Like you could easily, how awesome would it be? And this is very possible if a theater showed like the season of some Netflix show and binged it for you in a theater.
Hmm.
Like instead of doing a double feature like I did for Guardians of the Galaxy last week, if I could go and watch all of Stranger Things in one sitting on a big screen, that would work. People would pay to see that.
That sounds pretty long for me, but yeah, no, there would be people that would go to that for sure.
People would do it. Do an intermission. Maybe do like a block of 3 episodes at a time or something. Concessions would be through the fucking roof. It would actually bring some kind of social element to streaming. Anyway, that's not the issue. The issue is Con. Yeah, this was going on for a while. It basically started with the announcement of the runners for the prize all the way up until this week when they finally broke down. Because they were protesting. They're like, we can't believe you let these Netflix movies into our film festival. It's been going on for 70 years. And then it's like, hey guys, you put TV shows in the festival this year too. Like, what's the big fucking deal? Twin Peaks, which is a Showtime show, is at Con. Yeah. If that is allowed in the festival.
That's because that's David Lynch.
Sure.
Now, that's their justification. That's allowed. That's not, you know.
If that's allowed in the festival, though, who the fuck cares if Okja and the Meyerowitz Chronicles and
France is weird, man.
And Beguiled are streaming movies? Like, what's the big fucking deal? To be honest, I get that the French are weird. Like they're snooty and uptight, and they take their cinema very serious. Don't call it movies; it's cinema. But they should be aware that the world is changing. A theatrical release isn't gonna make it any more of a movie. A movie is if it's filmic, you know, if it has a certain runtime, if it has a closed story, if it, you know, it's hard even to find a movie anymore since it's evolved so much over the last couple of years.
There's so many options out there that you can, you know, there's something out there for everybody that, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
I think this might be just literally because it's like 3 of the 10 in the running, 3 of the 9 or whatever it is, are streaming titles already. They are going to be streaming shortly after the festival, and if any of them do win, trust me, they're gonna show up on Netflix really fast. I wouldn't be amazed if it was like the weekend after Netflix, like, hey, it's streaming already, guys. Please watch it. Please watch it right now. And then that one may even get like a theatrical release because why would one of the theater chains want to miss out on that easy money? You know? This is just entitlement. I think this is really weird. And
I mean, I ain't complaining. France can do them. They always have. So
it's like Palme d'Or isn't really necessary either. You know, it's just one of those prizes, just like the Caesar, just like the Best
cool
Picture.
To be there. I mean, yeah.
I guess it's really cool to be there, but it's
like Cannes, I guess it's probably nice during the festival. I've been there during the summer.
You mean Nice? That's a different part of France.
What,
I hate that joke.
Nice is
joke.
No, Cannes is very close by.
Yeah,
you gotta. No, I've landed at the airport in Nice to get there, but
it's a bad joke. It's just we'll skip over that.
What are you trying to do? I'm lost here.
You said Cannes is real nice, and I was like, oh, did you mean Nice? It doesn't matter. It's a stupid joke.
You're trying to no, not nice. Like that Walgreens fake label that they have. No,
it's Nice.
Not their Kirkland version.
No.
So
yeah, so as much as I'm not really invested in any of the movies in the running because our
you don't know what they are until somebody's going to praise them.
Well, not even that. Just our Debts of Cinema picked this week for 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days wasn't selected because it's a Palme d'Or winner. That's a factoid about the film that makes it a talking point. I don't give a shit. Like, we talk about this during that episode. The conversation, all that jazz and Dancer in the Dark. We didn't pick any of those for that reason either. It just so happened. Like, we have done it for Best Picture, without a doubt. In the Heat of the Night. What else do we do besides that one?
Wings.
Wings.
Yeah. It happens.
Sure, there's like one more in there somewhere.
We've done so many at this point.
It's hard. It's seriously hard to list all the movies we reviewed.
But there are a lot. There is a large catalog out there, and a lot of good ones. Some that I've forgotten that I'm probably, I'll be surprised by when I see them like years down the line. Oh shit, I saw that. Oh wow, that's me talking about that.
It's like, I saw American Ultra. Yeah, you did, boy.
That's right.
You did. You guys did see that one.
Yeah. Way to bring Max Landis back to the table.
Hey, why not? He's already at the table. We shaved his head this week. Like, he's such a weird character.
That's news, I guess.
He made an Instagram like story about his hair. What haircut should he get? And then he shaved it. And then on Twitter, all he did was talk about how amazing his Instagram story is. Please watch it, where I changed my haircut. And I'm like, wait, dude, what? And like, someone asked him.
You gotta interview this guy when he has a movie coming out.
Someone asked him, like, why don't you have a podcast? And he went, I don't think that's for me. I'm already so big on the internet. Like, not big, but, like, I'm already such a staple of the internet that I don't want to, like, fuel my internet whatever ego or something like that.
Well, and he's good at appearing on shows. Like, he's appeared on Screen Junkies. And
he's on Screen Junkies, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he could totally, like...
Stuff. So, like, he'll appear on other people's stuff. His own, I don't know.
Yeah, like, if he wasn't
I guess he's busy, yeah.
If he was a little bit older, I'm sure you'd get a podcast. I'm sure he'll have one in the next 5 years, without a doubt.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, the one that I would love for him to do is not like How I Made It, because that's kind of boring. That's what his memoir is going to be for, or maybe like he writes a biopic about himself.
How I Made It. Daddy was famous.
Yeah.
And
Nepotism, a true Hollywood story.
Yeah.
That'd be a good book title, to be honest. He should use that. Or maybe it would be like American Werewolf in Hollywood, or who the fuck knows. I wonder if he's still doing that remake. I think it's very plausible. But I want to see... Especially if Bright is a success, which I really hope it is.
I just, it's crazy
I would love,
that he's John Landis' kid. Like, can you imagine the two of them in the same room and thinking, wow, they're related? Like, it's, they just seem like such a different people. I don't know.
I've never really seen John Landis outside of, like, interviews and just different...
I've seen a lot of interviews. He was in town a couple months ago.
Just raised
showing
different
3
generations.
mystery horror films. Like, I almost went to that, actually. That would have been fun, but I couldn't. Anywho,
I would love to have, like, a oral history of how he made the first Netflix success movie. Like, I hope...
see what happens, man.
Well, we will see what happens, but he's so fucking busy. It would be fun, though. Like, if I had a short list of people I'd like to interview, he'd be one of them. And it's not even for, like... he seems like someone that'd be really fun to talk to.
He's a really talented guy, man. I really like Chronicle a lot. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, respect there. He's a good writer. I wasn't... even the weak parts of American Ultra, I still had to say, like, you know what? This is really good writing. Like, the dude has something.
At least it's a mostly original movie that got made, which is hard to do nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget Pirates of the Caribbean is coming out next week, guys. Didn't you want a 5th one?
Apparently it's not that bad.
I don't give a fuck if it's amazing. I'll never see it.
I'm not going either. Yeah. Let's just watch Dead to Cinema this week.
Yeah. Here's the next news item. Not exactly a headline, but it's the VR news item that is very important. Very, 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 very important. It's not just VR. It's just Microsoft-centric. Kind of exciting. They unveiled a lot of things this week at their Build keynote. Which included a new design language, which is going to be integrated across all of their Windows 10 devices. They have another Windows 10 Creator update, which is going to make Windows Movie Maker like an honest-to-goodness movie editor, which is cool, and that's free. But in terms of our show, the most important and impressive thing was the introduction of their mixed reality motion controllers. And they also put a price point for their outsourced headsets. So if you haven't been following along at home, there's lots of VR headsets out there. There's HTC Vive. There's going to be a Acer, LG has a Valve headset out there. It's coming in, or a Steam headset in the future. Valve VR. It's hard to keep track of all these names. There's Oculus Rift. There's Samsung Galaxy Gear. The Google Daydream. There's PlayStation VR. Google Cardboard. And then there is what Microsoft is doing. So basically, they're not making their own headset. They're allowing Acer and HP, among others, to create the headsets with their own technology. So they're 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 inside out tracking, which basically is the opposite of what everyone else does. So for HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift, or the PSVR, they all do it the exact same way. They either use a camera system or a laser system to track both the user via the headset and the controllers and put that within the world. What Microsoft does, not already only alone on HoloLens, but also with these headsets that are coming later this year, they're promised by Christmas, is they have sensors built into the headset, and they're going to track your hands outward. So it's going to have much better tracking. The downside is, despite these controllers using 6 degrees of freedom, and they might be the best to date, it limits the field of view of your hands. For instance, if you were to put your hands behind your back, most of the press doesn't believe, or rather believes, that the headset wouldn't be able to know what your hands are doing, which even PSVR can do to limited success, despite it being, the weakest in terms of tracking on the market. The other thing is, and it sounds impressive from at first glance, is that these headsets are going to be very cheap. Both HP and Acer are shooting for the $300 range just for the headset. If you want the headset plus the camera, the headset plus the controllers, you're looking at $400, which is still crazy cheap. PSVR is $400. You don't get the camera. You don't get the controllers. You want all that, that's $500. Of course, you do need a PS4 also, which makes it cheapest of all because that's $300 plus $500. It's only $800, period. HTC Vive is $600 by itself plus however expensive your computer is. Oculus is $500 plus your expensive computer. And then this requires a Windows 10 computer plus this headset. So the lowest tier would probably be about $1,000 for Windows with their headsets. But the real thing here, despite the price point, is that unlike all of the 3 major headsets out there, even Samsung for that fact, this does not use AMOLED or even OLED displays. Both HP and Acer are going to be shipping with LCD, which is far inferior from a display standpoint. It's going to probably have a much smaller field of view. There is going to be blurry. There's going to be frame rate issues. The refresh rate can't nearly be as high. All of the firsthand, the hands-on experiences that I've read, mind you, these aren't final devices. They are still in beta. They haven't got all the kinks out, but they have had issues with not the tracking, but literally, like, if a consumer was doing it right now, they'd probably get nauseous in the way that I did at the beginning of my VR days. So I don't know. I am very interested about these. I think we're going to get a lot more news. Probably it's going to be episode of 100. We're probably going to end the show with E3 coverage. What I'm expecting Windows to do is at E3, since they opened the show, they're going to show off their new Xbox, their Xbox One Scorpio, whatever it ends up being called. It's probably going to be called the Xbox One Pro or the Xbox One Elite or whatever the fuck they call it, okay, because they have a very weird naming structure. They've been touting for the longest time that this is a native 4K system, that it's going to be able to do true VR on a console, that's going to be able to do this and that and this and that. I expect them to unveil the price point, the release date, and say, those Windows VR headsets, or actually they don't use VR, which is the fucking stupidest thing. They're calling them Windows mixed reality headsets as a way to, like, turn the tide in what the public is calling these things. I expect them to fully support every one of those devices possible, and that way they have a full first-party inclusion. Hopefully with some great launch titles too, but I don't think they can rely strictly on Windows computing on a computer standpoint from PCs. I fully expect them, if they don't do that, they're very stupid. Since Windows 10 is on every Microsoft device now, whether that be a Surface, an Xbox, a phone, a computer, it is all the same Windows 10. They use all the same apps. They're saying in the near future that Xbox is going to be able to have mouse and keyboard support. They already have the Xbox Play Anywhere incentive, or Windows Play Anywhere rather, where if you buy certain games on PC, you can play them on your Xbox. That to create a unified experience, I want them to, in the next month, to show off these headsets at E3 with the new Xbox, with games, with a great bundle. This new Xbox is rumored to cost $500, so it's probably $499. These headsets with the controllers are $399. So on paper, that's technically $900. Make it $1,000. $1,000 bundle. You get the VR headset, you get the controllers, you get the new Xbox, you get that controller, and you get a game. It's not going to sell for everyone in the way that VR doesn't sell to everyone, but I think that a lot of people would buy it.
It's a start.
I think it's a brilliant start. But given Microsoft's track record in the past, especially this gaming generation, I don't know. I'm not holding my breath. I'll be very disappointed, though, if they can't do this. Because I do want an Xbox. I haven't had an Xbox since the original one. I would have got a 360.
Really far back.
Yeah, very far back, over a decade.
You even have games for it, too.
Not anymore. Oh, I have one.
Yeah, no, your Goodwill run.
Yeah, I have one from there. I sold all my other ones about a year ago. I had several in my original system. I sold that too. Yeah, I've almost bought an Xbox One, especially the Slim model, multiple times. I don't necessarily want the Scorpio, but if a bundle like this exists, I might be tempted. If the price point is good enough, if it's competitive enough, if they have some kind of in-house game or experience, or like say they had like Windows Paint VR, which is already technically a thing. They've already put that in the Windows 10 Creator Update. But if that launched on Xbox, like if you could do that, like it's like their tilt brush competition, man, I would love it. Like there's no such thing as a bad thing when it comes to more VR. Every headset that's on the market means that there's more people competing. And Sony and Microsoft have already collaborated. They've shown each other what they're working on in terms of the VR space. And that's kind of true for VR across the aisle. Like, no one is hiding. There are no industry secrets. And the reason they have to do this now is since it's still in the first year, second year, there aren't standards yet for anything. Drifter, who's a YouTuber that I watch primarily for his first-person shooter coverage, he does like the science behind Call of Duty, how guns work in terms of like kill range and this. He does it for Overwatch. He does lots of great stuff. He got into VR recently, and he put up a video just this week, matter of fact, about how stupid it is when you're outputting video on Oculus, how games do it all kinds of different ways. There is no unified way that either it's left eye or right eye. It's never both eyes. Sometimes it's 16:9. Sometimes it's 4:3. Sometimes there's like a leaderboard on the screen. Like, if you've seen my PSVR footage, it's like almost like a fisheye lens. It's kind of confusing. And like these are just the issues from.
No,
like,
it is weird because it's like your view is distorted from how
Right?
it actually looks on the screen.
Oh yeah,
right?
it looks nothing like it. For one thing, it's
Yeah.
not in 3D. It's a little nauseating because to me, I'm seeing what my head is looking for. You know, it's my point of view. If I turn left and right, it looks native to me. To you, it looks like a camera is shaking
Yeah,
around.
it's also I forgot what the game was that Blake played when I was there, but like I saw him bobbing
Yeah,
his head
Thumper.
back and forth, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, it looks kind of cool, but I don't see it. But then when you put on the mask, it's like, or helmet, it's like, okay, I get it. Like I see how it could look cool.
Like the thing to try to be conscious of, especially if you're live streaming or like recording gameplay within a VR headset in particular, is when you're looking just normal, you know, you can, with your eyes, not with your head, look down at your hands. From a recording standpoint, you literally have to tilt your head down for some reason. Like that's just how it works. The signal, like they haven't figured it out exactly. But this is, you know, something that I hope they do. Once they come to an understanding that they have to work together, they have to create like an alliance. Like it already kind of exists. Like all of the virtual reality publishers and developers and creators, they're probably working on this. It's just they don't have like, despite there being conferences and expos, and I'm sure everyone's friends with everyone and they all meet up and do cool stuff, they haven't, probably because it doesn't make sense from industry standpoint since it's still so young, but they haven't decided on things. Like probably to date there's around, I don't know, there's probably something like 3 million VR headsets sold to date across all platforms. 1 million alone coming from PSVR. Oculus plus Rift plus like Galaxy is probably 1 million, and then Cardboard is probably another million by itself, or maybe a little bit more than that. So it's still so young. Like it's crazy to think about. But yeah, if Microsoft fucks this up, which they're prone to do, because this Christmas is gonna be a full year since PSVR came out, and the library
Since
is
October,
getting
right? Yeah.
yeah, it's October. The library is getting scary big. Like we're on the eve of Farpoint. I'm picking that up tomorrow. This time tomorrow, I'll be at home, not playing it because I'm probably gonna be tired, but maybe playing it. Farpoint is set to be the killer app for virtual reality, at least right now. And that's not the only VR game they have coming out this month. Like it's crazy to think about. And so Microsoft is trying to get out there. They don't have any games made for them specifically because they don't have a headset. Like all the games so far are either on the PlayStation Network, Steam, or they're on the Oculus Home. And I don't know if people are going to port that content over there. It's very feasible. I mean, the good news is that if the coding language is easy enough, if the headset is easy enough to develop for, then all of these great games and experiences that have been out for over a year's time, by the time Microsoft joins the table, they're going to be easy. It's, you know, like when you buy your headset day one, there's going to be 100 things to buy, which is going to be very nice. But at the same time, if they fuck it up, if they do another Xbox One fiasco where, oh yeah, you need this camera and it's always connected to the internet and it does this and the XYZ things are wrong with it. Oh, you want to do that? Too bad. Like it's dumbfounding. If you've never used an Xbox One before, when you take a game and you put it in your system for the first time, it literally takes like 5 to 10 minutes just to install the game.
Yeah, no, it's longer than that actually.
Yeah, it depends on the game.
It's really irritating, but yeah, like the
It's
bigger that the
very
game is, the
long.
longer it takes. Yeah.
On PlayStation, on a
Freaking
PS4,
hate it.
you put the game in, it is done in less than a minute always. It doesn't matter how big the game is. Like you might have more updates to install off the internet. It might have to install additional files somehow, but actually ripping the content onto the hard drive is pretty much instantaneous.
Yeah, it's funny.
And they
Me
both
and a
have the
friend
same
had
Blu-ray
this
drive.
conversation like a while back that like we thought back in the day that loading screens on PS2 and all that would be gone one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then remembering back that on N64 didn't exist. No, they just keep getting longer and longer.
That's not true. It's certain games, Final
They
Fantasy
were
15, Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm sure I could think of more if I thought of it. They have very long loading screens when you start the game, but both of those examples, after that initial load,
those are massive. So
well, even still, once you get into the game, once it actually boots up, there's no loading, or at least not for most of the game. In Final Fantasy 15, towards the later section of the story, there is in between chapters.
it's like once
But
you respawn, it's not going to take a long ass time to put you back there.
no, it's like instantaneous for both games. Like
Yeah.
in terms of Final Fantasy, like literally 70% of that game for 15, you're just playing. You can run around, you can do anything, walking in buildings, doing this, doing missions, doing all that shit. It's the same as Grand Theft Auto 5. Like you can walk in any house, you can drive any car, you can fly anything. You can, if you can see it, you can do it. And so they already have that possibility. It's just for certain things, especially sports, where you have to load in different textures, or like racing games, or anything like as they move closer and closer to sandbox games, like something like Minecraft. I don't think there's loading screens in Minecraft. That part of that is
No, I don't think
because
so.
it's so undemanding of processing power. It it looks like a fucking N64 game on purpose.
Pretty
that
much, yeah.
they can put it anywhere. Like speaking of, if Microsoft were smart, since they own Mojang, which makes Minecraft, and they already have Minecraft and AR on HoloLens, how about making Minecraft VR an exclusive launch on Microsoft mixed reality headsets? That'd be really smart. Better yet, if you already own Minecraft, you don't have to pay anything. There is no upgrade fee. You just get it. That would have such a huge install base. That would push millions of people to buy one because they are obsessed with Minecraft. I still understand the appeal, but it would be a system seller. It would be insane. So if they were smart, which they have been known to be, they would do this and they would do it right. Not an ad break, but a show break. This is where we talk about our other shows at the 1 hour mark of 2 cents. Dollar Views is our most notable show because it's the name. It's the one that's lasted the longest. It's 4 years and some change old. And it's where we do spoiler-free, no recaps for new releases sometimes, games and movies, or music, but I doubt that's going to happen anymore. Streaming, theaters, it doesn't matter, direct to DVD. If it's something that just came out or it's of the last 3 years, we're going to give it a go. We do it all. We've done lots of superhero stuff: Logan, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, Doctor Strange, Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Power Rangers. We've done streaming only, Handmaiden, Camera Person for Amazon, Sandy Wexler, Ridiculous Six, The Do-Over, and Tallulah for Netflix. We've done lots of award season stuff, Elle, La La Land. They didn't win any awards, sadly, but Swiss Army Man. Our most listened to episode to date is still Magic Mike XXL, so if you love good stories about cars getting stolen, you want to listen to that one. Death Cinema is our other show. It has a better name, and it's the one that...
Sorry, just does the car get stolen in that?
Yeah.
I remember a car crashing, but...
No, Magic Mike XXL, I start the episode off about how much I love the movie because it distracted me from my life problems, most notably my car being stolen.
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, that's probably why that's gotten the most listens. But
really? I think so.
Who's to know? But Death Cinema is our other show, and it's the one with the better title. It's our semi-topical List of Shame show where, depending on the date or the holiday or whatever reason, we try to make it work. So this week, since it's Mother's Day, we did 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, which is about abortion. The week before that, this past week, we did The Tribe just because, hey, why not? But Howard the Duck coincided with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The Conversation. What was the reason for that?
The Circle.
Mainly. Oh, yeah, The Circle and
Surveillance,
just Watergate 2.0.
It's just there's several tie-ins that you can find into that.
Yeah, we did all the President's Men
based
this year
on
for
where
the same
we were
reasons.
in the show, yeah.
But Biodome for Earth Day, Wings for the Oscar, Time Crimes because of Groundhog's Day. We have been subverting it lately, so we did like My Bloody Valentine for Valentine's Day. What's the other horror one we did recently?
Black Christmas for Christmas.
Yeah. Black Christmas.
Then again, we did Gremlins though the year before, so
and Bad Santa.
Yeah.
And Star Wars Holiday Special.
There's not been like an honest to God Christmas movie that we, because I mean, Joyeux Noel, that's a war film, so
that's that's as Christmas as it gets, man. Like,
and yet it's a war film, like I mean, like Christmas is in like
movie.
It's a Wonderful Life or A Christmas Carol, like
I'd
something.
put Joyeux Noel on the same platform as It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, it's a feel good movie for sure, but still, that's a war film, There's something that it's not like it's not exactly like it's a feel good Christmas movie, and at the same time it isn't though.
It's like maybe I'll save it for this year, but I almost, as counter programming for Black Christmas this past Xmas, I almost picked White Christmas because it's on Netflix. So it was gonna be Black versus White Christmas. I was like, do I really want to see a Bing Crosby movie? I was like, no, not really. So
yeah, I tried watching that on TV before. I don't know. I can't get into it.
That whole era of filmmaking, the mid to late 50s, when you had these pop singers like Elvis and Frank Sinatra, basically like just selling out. Like how do we get your fans in the music world
Jailhouse
to go
Rock.
see a movie? Yeah, it's like, well, how about you create a new song and you sing it on screen, and then we like kind of haphazardly make a movie about that. Yeah, that works. Like, so fucking weird. Like I'm sure I have to see some of those movies one of these days, but how good could they be,
It's what the show's for, probably better than you think.
I don't know.
I mean, more times often than not, that's how it's been, hasn't it? Like, we think something might not be that great, and we're like, it's actually not that bad.
For the things that are supposed to be bad, but
Well, yeah.
Like, for
for the things that are well-regarded, we're like, I can see the appeal.
I still want to... Well, I mean, I don't want to, but I still want to see something that's just fucking horrible. It's like, why was this on the list of shame? What the hell's going on now? Like, why is this a good one?
Hey, Shane.
We were pretty negative on Shane, but in the same way
it's like I can get the appeal for that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't love The Searchers the first time I saw it. I've actually grown up to really enjoy that movie now. So
Really?
maybe Shane might be the same thing. I doubt it.
No, I highly doubt that
You know what's freaking weird is that for the Logan black and white version, I did think of this. How is Shane going to work as a reference for that? Like, that's a color movie.
It's going to work in that the movie was never supposed to be in black and white. It wasn't shot that way, and
I know, it's just like, it's going to seem like a weird reference.
It's fucking blame Mad Max, man, as I look at the poster. That was not shot in black and white. It wasn't supposed to be. They color graded it in post. They're doing the same thing for Logan, and I'm sure that's going to be a trend for the years to come. anytime there's a movie that's kind of
The
gritty,
Mist is the best example of that because that was a movie that they wanted in black and white, and he compromised and still got his version at the end of the day. So
I just hope it kind of dies. Like, because I trust me, it's going to become more and more and more common as
yeah,
blockbusters become less and less interesting. It's like, well, how do we make this one stand apart? How about we
let's watch
actually
the
shoot
black
it?
and white version
Yeah,
of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, guys.
that would be such a waste of money.
It sounds like it's terrible. Yeah.
Because, yeah, that movie, its selling point is how colorful it is. Like, literally, it's cast characters, how
You
colorful
know,
they are.
like honestly, I've talked about this before, where I have on purpose just brought the color dial down to see
Yeah.
something in black and white. Yeah, I mean, which can be a fun experiment. You know, thanks to Siskel and Ebert for bringing that up years ago and giving me the idea. Sometimes I'm inclined to do that, and it can make a movie look a lot more interesting. But you know, I don't want that for everything. You know, it's not like everything's going to suit that.
I think it's
Like I
just.
can't imagine watching Dope, for example, and doing that.
Yeah,
That
no,
makes no sense to
no.
me.
It'd make it horrible.
Yeah,
I have to, like,
seriously.
black and white movies aren't special because they're in black and white. They're special because it's a certain time in filmmaking, and just the monochromatic nature of it makes it apparent from first glance what era it was made in.
Well, but also now it can be used as a stylistic choice
It
to
can
actually help
be.
the film.
Uh,
So it's
Pleasantville,
still it has an effect.
the artist. There are prime examples where it does
Well,
work.
that's an ode to an old time. Like I
Well,
mean, something
well,
like
no, I'm saying like Pleasantville.
okay, yeah, no, but I mean outside of like making it media related, like you know, like La Haine, for example. That was a movie that was shot in color actually, because they did that so that it could be shown that way on TV, even though they were planning on releasing it in black and white. But the movie is so good that even on TV, they were like, no, let's not change it. It should stay in black and white. It only makes sense that way.
The weirdest thing about this trend is once upon a time, when color was coming to fruition, they were going about trying to color, or like after color had already become the norm, they were trying to
Yeah,
colorize black and white classics, including Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Ted Turner. Yeah.
And the whole world was like, no, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know? And yet, if that came back today, people would probably go for it. Because I'm sure there's lots of kids out there, and I'm almost one of them, where it's like, I don't want to see that movie. It's in black and white. That's not the real world.
I see. I'm not like that. You know, like I don't want to see King Kong or Citizen Kane in color. That'd be weird to me.
Like I said, I'm
Um,
not, like, I'm almost there. Like, I don't want to see them in color. But it's the opposite is true. It's like, why do people want to see these movies in black and white?
You know, if it has the director's stamp of approval, then people can get behind it, and they will. You know, it's easier if a director justifies it to believe them, like, and be like, you know, yeah, I want to check that out. Like that was part of the appeal with Fury Road. Was like, you know what, that may not be my favorite version of the movie, but I want to see it. And there are things about that version that are actually better in black and white. Like if I had to decide how to rank my versions, like, you know, the top one would be in 3D.
Oh,
The
yeah.
one would be the color 2D version, but I think if I wanted to watch it in 2D, I'd rather watch the black and white version. You know,
Talking about this right now,
it's
I wonder what a black and white 3D film would be like.
Frank and Weenie. See, I don't know if that would work as well though. Well, no, it does. It did work for Creature of the Black Lagoon because I saw that in 3D and the
I
depth
still
of that
have to
was
see
strong.
that. I have a
Yeah,
3D
but
copy. I'll watch it
so
maybe this
I
Halloween.
guess yeah, it can still work. It's just I don't know. It seems strange to me because I mean, you know, like the idea of 3D, it's
To make it more realistic.
not necessarily real. Well, I mean, definitely
Not realistic, but
give it more shape because I mean, 3D
to
like
make it
feels
3-dimensional, to have
yeah,
depth
3D
to a picture.
feels more like an actual dream to me when I'm watching it.
Depending on the movie, yeah.
Yeah,
It just
but
it better, or it's a easier way to transport you into the world.
yeah,
It's more not believable, but it seems more realistic in the way that all virtual reality is 3D, because flat images just don't do something justice to sell you on something in the same way that black and white doesn't. Like it.
There's something about the variety, you know, that it really depends on what the tool is being used and how well the story works for it and what's being told. You know, I like I can't criticize something for its technique, you know.
So I wish I knew the name off the top of my mind. I would have to look at my film theory notes. Wait, I got it right here. I got a book, The Major Film Theories. Is it
Which
Arnheim?
one, for classical or contemporary?
Classical.
Yeah.
I want to say I flipped
Is
to
that
the
the
right way.
Bible one that we have with like all the definitions on there?
No, this is a great read. I forgot. I think I got this for a Hopkins class. I'm looking. There was this guy, and I want to say he might have been French, and essentially he believed that black and white film was powerful because it seemed more like a dream, you know? And
Yeah.
he didn't want color to become dominant because then it lost its luster. It was no longer cinema. Like it
And
stopped
given the actions of the
having
time, I think that's absolutely true.
it stopped having the power. It was less of an art form, if that makes sense.
Well, I
And
mean, that was closer to reality. You know, and times have evolved. Now we've been more accepting of color as a tool. Now you bring high frame rate, and that's where we kind of bring that argument again, where it's like, no, 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 this is what makes it seem too much like reality, and it's no longer got that dreamlike quality that 24 frames a second has. You know, we've said this, like you've said this before. Things come in cycles. It's just a variation of it.
shit, who?
Is it Mutzenberg?
I don't
Or
think it is. I do.
yeah, what's the name?
Munzenberg's the guy right before this. I think it's Rudolf Arnheim. I'm doing like a quick little read right here. Because Munzenberg's like pretty much
Show break, you
the
guys.
first. Well, technically it is the ad break right now, but he's like
Yeah.
the first classical film theorist.
Uh-huh. I don't have the book in front of me, so I'm sorry. All that stuff is at my mom's. But yeah,
It's
no,
Arn.
I
It's
mean,
Arnheim.
that name sounds familiar.
Pretty sure. Like I could go through. I don't highlight books, so my notes are somewhere else right now. But I'm like 90% sure.
I think I got the paper that I wrote on that saved in my Google Drive, but I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, let's keep going. What else we got?
Let me put this back. Hold on. Dun, dun. I should read this thing again. It like just like skimming through it real fast.
No, there's some good stuff in there.
It's like film theory
Absolutely.
is definitely interesting. Like I miss those classes. Like it was fascinating to learn about, especially the older theorists and their concept of cinema, like pretty much at its inception, given that film theory basically started in like the 1910s, and
Yeah.
cinema had only been around for like 15, 20 years, and there was already
Like
people out there.
or no, late 1800s at that point.
Yeah, so there's already people out there that have been watching it all since like the Nickelodeon and the Black Mariah, and they were tracing its path, which is I'm sure something that I'm probably gonna start doing with virtual reality, and just being present at its inception, as I said, you're able to see the trends and you can see what comes and goes and what works and doesn't, and you're there for everything, and it's a way to get in the history book for your voice to matter, and like, I wonder who that's gonna be in VR, like who those people are gonna be, where it's like you're the soothsayer, like you're the horse whisperer that you know the fucking secrets, and you can like someone gets you to come into their studio and see if it works or not. Like that'd be a fun job, like a consultant almost, except you also have like something on the side. Like I would love to read VR theory like that. That'd be interesting. Like
Start it.
I wonder if that exists. Like if there already are academic papers on. I'm sure there is. There has to be. There's
Get
actually.
it going.
We're going to be talking about TV in a second here, but there's actually a TV show that's coming to NBC called Reverie, and it's about in the near future a widely successful VR headset or platform or whatever is taking off, and bad things are happening to the people that are using it. I might watch the pilot. I'm interested. The first little piece of film news we got here is the only piece of film news we got here. Well, there's like one other one too. But Steve McQueen of 12 Years a Slave, Hunger, and Shame fame is got another movie in the works. He's got a narrative film coming out, not this Christmas, but next one for next award season. But he's making one right now. It's a documentary, and it's about Tupac. Interesting choice. Yeah, like in the press release I read, Steve McQueen was at NYU while Tupac was blowing up or getting shot, whatever way you want to look at that. What's kind of weird about this timing is that he has a biopic coming out, not Steve McQueen, but Tupac, in like a month on his birthday. And I'm sure this documentary is going to be good. It is supported by Tupac's estate, which I don't think the biopic is. Maybe it is.
And also, I mean, they haven't been pushing the marketing on that, have they? Because I know it's in reaction to...
No, they have.
Have they? Because I have not seen anything.
I've seen the trailer in theaters. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it on TV. Like it's
maybe not popular in Texas, but
yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, but you know, as far as I know, like I know it's the movie got greenlit probably in reaction to Straight Outta Compton because
especially because Tupac is in that movie.
Huge hit. Yeah.
When that like it's like how many cameos?
I think we may have talked about that. Yeah.
It's like how many Snoop Dogg worked? Yeah, Snoop Dogg about Tupac. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Ice Cube writing his screenplay for Friday?
That's right, the guy that they got to play Snoop Dogg.
It's like, can we get Ice Cube with his Friday script in this movie?
I want to watch that movie again. Yeah.
I really, that's a fucking long movie, dude.
It's what, 2.5 hours? It was really good, man.
It was good at the time, but I don't know if it would hold up.
It was a breakout hit that was timely at the time, sure.
Yeah, but I
really saw that coming. But
I just. Like the Eazy-E beats with him getting AIDS and the whole like Jerry Weller stuff.
That was a bit melodramatic.
Yeah, like the our manager screwed us stuff. Like I just like Ice Cube breaking up with Dr. Dre, all that stuff. Like I feel it's a great biopic at the time because it was able to take this story of a rap group at an important time, like. Right around the Rodney King riots, like what was happening in our country at the time of its release, all of these good things.
Obama was still president. Wow.
Black director, black writer, black cast, black producers. It's about Ice Cube starring his son as Ice Cube, produced by Ice Cube. Like all of these things across the board, you know, very timely. And now I feel like it's just a long movie that takes that you've already know the story for. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
though.
We'll see. I might watch it again.
I'm sure there's still some good energy to it, but like I remember in particular, like the shots during the riots where you got like the Blood and Crips members like holding hands in the street. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
But that was real news footage, though, wasn't it?
No, there was like no news footage in the whole movie. It was all filmed for the film. Like I think there might have been the clips of the Rodney King beating. But outside of that...
Yeah, no, because there was like news footage of that, for sure.
Yeah, but outside of that...
You can't avoid that.
I can't recall any archival footage. Like, not even at the end when they do, like, the lower thirds, oh, this is where the people went thing. They use... They like, just film the actors or the actual people today instead of having, like, Ice Cube, like, doing something back then.
Like, enough people knew who he was even when they saw the movies, so I don't think they needed it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Stylistically. Interesting. The rest is TV, though, and it's all kind of the same trend. It's mostly superhero stuff to close out the week. It's notable that this week a ton of TV got canceled. Like a shit ton. Like they're calling it like the May Massacre or something. So I think it's upwards of like 15 shows have been canned already. A lot of them freshman series, but a lot, even more just things that have been going on, or like lots of the cast have left. Once Upon a Time on ABC, most of the cast has left. Sucks for you, you know. Like
they got bigger careers now, though, right?
Maybe not. Like most people on network television.
How long has that thing been around? Like 5 years,
6.
Maybe more. Yeah.
Like the 7th season just got started, or I mean, they just got greenlit. Renewed is what they call it in the TV land. But this is a new show that I already knew about because I heard about it coming to Russia a couple of weeks back, and I kept my mouth shut. Everyone, if you're listening to the show, should know how crazy I am about Lego Dimensions or just Legos. Unikitty, one of the stars of the Lego movie, is getting her own TV show on the Cartoon Network. It is, weirdly enough, not being done in brick form. It is going to be 2D animated, which is interesting.
That's not odd at all for TV, for Cartoon Network, no. But
They have a Lego Ninjago show that's done in a similar fashion to the Lego Movie.
is that
They
Cartoon
also,
Network where they broadcast that?
yeah, because Warner Brothers has an agreement with the Lego Group, and then on top of that, they also publish all of the Lego games. And Warner Brothers is owned by Time Warner, and Turner Broadcasting is the company behind Cartoon Network, which explains a lot of things. But yeah, this is going to be on Cartoon Network. And the other thing that's curious is Tara Strong, who's known for voicing people on like Powerpuff Girls and Teen Titans, is going to be taking over voice duties from Alison Brie, which is kind of weird because Alison Brie even did the voices in the video games, including Lego Dimensions. So I don't know. Maybe it's too expensive to get someone of that caliber to be doing voice acting in a kids programming. But I don't know. And Tara Strong is more of an actual voice actress. Like she's got a wide, very long resume. The Batman Arkham games, like it's way too long. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler got her on his show eventually. Just given like he got the voice of Jimmy Neutron not too long ago, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw that. I listened to that actually.
That it was kind of freaky. I like talking to someone in their normal voice, and then they bust out Jimmy Neutron. I'm like, wait, you're a girl though.
Yeah.
Like it would probably be the same
And they
thing.
just realize, holy shit, I am old.
It's like if you did The Simpsons, like getting like talking to what's her name, and then
Dan Costello or
Bart, like, and then she does the Bart voice. It's like hold
that'd be weird.
hold
Yeah.
the fuck up. Like,
It's like that's been around since before I was born.
yeah. The other shows, though, and there's a lot of them, and this first one I hope is an exception for that rule I just made about Alison Brie, is FXX is going to be making a Deadpool animated series that Donald Glover is going to be show running and creating with his brother. The two of them,
That is crazy.
very crazy.
But,
The two of them
yeah.
worked on FX's Atlanta, which I still haven't seen, and it's only on Hulu, so maybe I'll do a 7-day trial just to watch that and like The Handmaid's Tale and their Batman and Bill. That's the real one I want to see. Don't really care about Atlanta. Want to see Batman and Bill, which is a chronicle of Bill Finger, who was the co-creator of a lot of Batman concepts and designs. He was also the illustrator, and he only just last year, at the premiere of Batman vs Superman, actually got credit for the character for the first time ever. So I want to see that series. I think it's like 6 or 7 episodes. Mostly what it does, I think, is kind of break down how different the character would be without his contributions. I don't know, though. But yeah, if Ryan Reynolds isn't tapped to reprise his role, Fox is going to lose a lot of potential viewers and a ton of money. I don't know how
he
they
won't
would
be. No, he won't be. You come on, it's TV. You know that for stuff like this, like they'll probably get a sound alike or
No,
someone
I
to
hope
do
they
kind
get
of
Ryan
impersonation.
Reynolds, man.
I doubt they will for TV.
I can't imagine
that
this
would be
has
insane.
a long, like a lot of like this is gonna be like Archer, you know?
If you write the character really well and the character sounds, I mean, there have been animated adaptations of Deadpool that are just as funny.
The difference is
Notably, especially when he's given Spider-Man shit.
it's like Deadpool just got a huge movie last year. Logan had a Deadpool
it's
trailer
TV,
attached
man.
to
Hey,
it.
Hey,
Deadpool,
Unikitty is not voiced by Alison Brie. This is not unusual.
that's small potatoes, man. Like that's a singular character, not the breakout one from the Lego movie, you know?
I'm just saying, I doubt it'll happen, you know?
It's like put it this
Freaking
way.
Star Wars Clone Wars, they don't have the voices of Ewan McGregor or Hayden Christensen. You know, they got people that sound like them.
It's because they can't do it. Okay, the only
It's
reason
gonna be the same deal.
The only reason this TV show is being made is because Deadpool is such a success, and the way it's actually being
Absolutely.
told is that all the people at Marvel actually approached Fox about this, not the other way around. So Fox isn't money hungry for X-Men properties, despite the next couple of news stories I'm be talking about. I might check this out. I mean, why not? I don't know.
Donald Glover, man, that's enough of a reason why.
I don't know how far they can go on basic cable. I mean, Archer does a pretty good job of tipping the line of what's possible on TV. But I don't know. I'm curious. This wouldn't be out for a long time. They just announced it. I doubt they've even started animated the thing. Maybe doing the voice acting. I'm sure we'll get like the voice cast at Comic-Con. Maybe they'll show like a teaser or something like that. But yeah, I really hope it's Ryan Reynolds or someone like
That sounds like him.
not sounds like him. You don't need someone that sounds like him, but a big name. You know, like I want
Just
like a big
Or
comedian.
even an unknown, just someone that
No,
can get the
not
attitude of the character.
not for an animated property like
Yeah, when it
this.
comes to animation, no,
No,
people
you
don't
you
really highlight
bullshit
names.
for a big
Really?
show like this, especially on FXX. Like look at Archer. You got
Yeah, no one knew
um,
who John H. Benjamin was before that. No one.
that's not true. It no like Archer. No,
Did you know?
I still barely know who he is, but like he's a big voice actor now. Like Bob's Burgers,
Yeah,
Archer. He's in
a
a
lot of
lot
it
of
because of
TV,
that. Yeah.
but like Wet Hot American
Right when
Summer.
that came out, though, no.
Wet Hot American Summer, he was already known at that time. Like he was doing stand up then,
Like
and
it
he had
was a working actor, I guess, but I don't
yeah.
know. Was he known like or around my circles anyway,
Like
like
he
around the
does, he
college
didn't.
crowd that discovered Archer? Not
He
really.
doesn't. Yeah, no, he didn't
People
have
didn't get it
the.
because of the actor. They got it because the show was that good.
Besides him,
Like
though,
that's all dead
you got
cool and the character need to be.
you got Chris Parnell. You got shit. What?
Aisha Tyler.
Well, she's an also ran.
Um,
Besides Archer, she has
yeah,
nothing
and
to her name.
someone whose name I'm forgetting.
Yeah, what's her name from Arrested Development?
Yeah.
Kitty. Fuck. She has directed a movie. It's coming out.
A character actress, yeah.
Yeah, it's escaping me.
Shoot, I don't
But I
know.
mean, they get. I don't know. I feel for Deadpool. They're gonna get maybe someone like who's kind of washed up now, who's not doing anything. I don't know who, but I hope it's Ryan Reynolds. Just like, what else is he doing? Like, Life came out. The only reason they got greenlit is because Deadpool's a success. Life fucking flopped hard, man. Like, I don't think he's got anything but Deadpool. I don't like. He needs a vehicle. He's a great actor. I love him. He has great charisma. He has great screen presence. He's sexy, but he needs a better agent. Like he has a very bad track record. Even if I do like most of his movies, Van Wilder, fucking not P.S. I Love You, but definitely maybe uh, Green Lantern. No, I don't like that one. I wonder if there's another one of his films that.
Wasn't he in Harold and Kumar for a bit?
Yeah, he has like a little cameo, but
Yeah.
like actual roles, like the big ones that come out to me, like jump to mind are Just Friends, Waiting, definitely maybe Van Wilder,
Yeah.
and then like his later stuff that he's known for in the wrong reasons, Blade Trinity, like in Green Lantern,
Green Lantern. Yeah.
Selfless.
Adventureland.
It's like a side role, but yeah, Adventureland.
It was a good role though. Like, yeah, I don't know, played a good asshole in that.
He's in something that I can't. I'm gonna use IMDb. I know he's in something that is like actually good, like not just like in the oh yeah he's like kind of good in that.
Well, there's quite a few things that are that way. I don't. What else is there? There's the Nines. There's the Voices.
I wouldn't say he's,
Which I know you weren't big on,
No.
but I know you saw it.
as much as I like Marjan Sarapi and Persepolis. I've written a paper on Persepolis. It was like a film to screen thing. Whatever. It was like multi-layered. But no, that was a weird movie. The tone of that movie was so over the place.
Okay, I'm cheating now too, but yeah, he was in The Proposal. And
You know that movie's funny.
yeah, Mississippi Grind,
Mississippi Grind. Yeah, how we forget that
Woman in
one. We got an
Gold,
episode for that.
The Croods. That's right. R.I.P.D.
I haven't.
Turbo.
No, R.I.P.D. is bad.
Yeah, but he was in it.
I saw that. That was literally shit. I saw that shit.
I have not seen it. Safe House.
What? He's in the
Origins
Rosie Project? Oh,
Wolverine,
he's
of
rumored.
course.
Never mind.
I still want to see Definitely Maybe.
It's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then it's kind of dead from there.
No, I mean, I want to see Paperman. That's on my watch list. Also, Buried.
That's right. Yeah.
I need to see Buried. It's on streaming still. I think it's on Netflix.
Wait till Halloween, maybe. I don't know.
No, the movie's not scary. It's just a thriller. It's a claustrophobic
Yeah,
thriller.
that's fair. That's fair.
I could watch that whenever I want. Like, I almost did it last
You gotta get in the
Halloween.
mood.
It just, yeah, it started real fucking slow, man. Like, it was seriously really, really. Have you seen it?
No, I've seen it.
Okay, you already
I've
know
seen
that.
it. Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Like, I started, I was like, ooh, this is
I
gonna be
will not
interesting.
forget the reaction to that.
Oh, this is real interesting. And then I was watching for like 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, some other time, Ryan Reynolds. But yeah, definitely on my radar. And like I said, Fox is not money hungry for Marvel. That's not necessarily true. So Fox's actual Fox, like Channel 11 in LA, they have a Bryan
Channel 7
Singer.
here.
It's 7 there. What's ABC?
7. Fox 7 here.
No, I'm saying what's ABC there.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, Bryan Singer has an X-Men series at Fox. It has a title. It's called The Gifted. It stars Stephen Moyer and a couple other people. And there's already a trailer for this. It's out. It's coming this fall. I don't even know where this fits within their quote-unquote universe. Because Legion is outside of the movies. The movies are outside of the movies. Deadpool's somewhere in between. I'm guessing this Deadpool TV show is going to be a standalone entity. And then there's this, which is just like, what is this? I guess we'll find out. I wonder if there's connection to anything, maybe to Legion. But it's like they're truly splintering what makes sense in the same way that Sony is. Like, oh yeah, we got our Black Cat show coming out, guys.
Or we got our own Spider-Man, and hey, Marvel can do their own Spider-Man
Yeah.
too, as long as we make money
We're
from
making
it.
we're making a Venom movie, but it's not part of the MCU, guys. Check it out.
I don't know. I think they're kind of banking on the fact that maybe shared universes are fizzling out a bit, so they're just gonna do different variations and see what sticks.
Maybe.
I mean, I know you're still gung-ho on it. I give less of a shit now on shared universes.
It's not that I'm necessarily gung ho about it. Like you heard me on
more so than I.
You heard
am.
me on Dollar Reviews last week. I was super negative
Yeah.
about Guardians because of its lack of perceived shared universe. It's just it seems like a wasted nature. Like there's a reason why TV has a writer's room. There'd be a very simple way, unless they're not doing it initially, to set up that Legion and Gifted and Logan and Deadpool and all of this somehow works together. Like in the DC Extended Universe, the easy way of doing it is there's a multiverse. There's 52 universes. So that means there's 52 Earths. So that means that there are 52 different ways that we can fit these all together. It just doesn't seem like they fit together, you know? For Marvel properties, it's a little more confusing because that's not the way things work. Especially when it's so fragmented across properties, across studios. But Bryan Singer is actually producing this. He directed the pilot. I'm sure he probably directed the series. I mean, not the series, the season finale as well. So who knows if this is good? No one knows if this is good. I'll watch the trailer itself. I've only seen the teaser later. And we talked about this back months and months when it was announced. Basically, a family goes on the run because they find out that their kids are mutants. And they're like the world's anti-mutants because whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting. The other X-Men thing, though, and this is like troubling, and the last real news item of the show, is Fox's New Mutants, which is coming out next year, actually has a cast now, and it's a good one at that. It's Anna Taylor-Joy and Maisie Williams, so that's really good, and it's about the young outcast X-Men, which was pretty much set up at the end of Logan. I hope that they are playing older versions of those characters, or those characters are part of the group too.
Yeah, seriously.
But
like,
they're
what, 20 now? Or
both of them, no. Maisie Williams
18, 20?
and Taylor-Joy, I think, is like 18, 19. Maisie Williams is like 17. And so they're all going to be around that age, which is going to be interesting. By the time it's released, like, yeah, they're going to be in the 20-ish range. But just Game of Thrones fans alone are going to go check this out. Split fans are probably going to check this out. I can't wait to see The Witch this year. I'm interested to see her in another starring role. Just fucking good.
It's a really good movie, man.
Good actress, man. She's got a bright future for her.
Oh yeah, especially after The Witch. Yeah, it's really fucking good.
We're gonna find out. Well, she's already gonna be a fucking X-Men.
You're gonna find out, yeah.
She's gonna be an X-Men, which is exciting. Last actual news item though is right here, and it's about Judge Dredd. He's not getting a movie. He's getting a TV show. They're fucking that up too. The good news is it has great titles.
Is Carl Urban cast in it?
Not yet. Probably not gonna happen.
I don't care.
Right? But it's called Judge Dredd Mega City 1, so ideally this is going to be about the city, not about Judge Dredd, just like the most recent Dredd movie, which is only $5 on Amazon still, and it's a 3D copy. You should pick it up on Blu-ray. It's definitely worth it. I watched the special features. Really, really good. But yeah, this doesn't have a network, doesn't have anything, it doesn't have a log line. Basically the concept is, hey, in the future world, you have to get the whole eastern seaboard into one big city. It's a metropolitan apocalypse. And there are these people called the Dreads. And they are judge, jury, and executioner. And they can do whatever the fuck they want. They can basically probably make this like a The Wire meets The Shield, and it would
Yeah.
work. It would be work really well on TV. But yeah, if they got Carl Urban, that would be awesome. If they got shit, who was it? Olivia Trilby.
Olivia Thirlby.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of that. I thought her having superpowers in that movie was kind of weird.
It was interesting.
It was
that
it
choice.
was an interesting choice, but it would be pretty weird. Something to note, and it's notable because I'm gonna be maybe reviewing it on the next Dollar Reviews, probably the next one. The latest PSVR game I got, Battlezone, is published by Rebellion Games. Rebellion Games in the not too distant past actually bought the rights to 2000 AD, which means they own the Judge Dredd intellectual property. And one of the things you can do in Battlezone, despite it being a VR tank simulator, you can actually get a Judge Dredd bobblehead for your cockpit. But given that they own the rights, that kind of makes it interesting. They're a UK company, so who knows where this is going to go. It's in development, so that doesn't mean it's even going to get an order. But interested, because comic books are big, if not on movies, on the small screen. Preacher Season 2 started. I'll give it another chance. I'll watch one episode. If they can't knock it out of the park on the first episode of this season...
You said that last year, too. You said that the whole time.
Well, see,
and
I
you
was
just kept
pissed
going with
off last year because it was all cock tease. The season ended where the first episode of the comic ends. They did 10 episodes for one issue of a comic book. That's pretty fucked up. Like, that's Hobbit level fucked up, you know? How we take 90 pages and make it into three-hour movies. So,
A lot of people love the show already.
it's not bad, but most of those people probably also didn't read the comic. I own all 9 volumes around my bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
If that first episode can knock it out of the park, in particular, if the season starts with them doing a road trip to New York, I'll be a fan. But they set it up well. They just don't have to let me down. They let me down, I'm done. I'm out the fucking door. I don't like AMC. I gave it a good shot. But, you know, we'll see where that goes. Anyway, thanks for listening to the show. We hope it's been a pleasure. Hope you learned something new. You can reach us all over the internet, like I said at the top of the show. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WordPress, Tumblr, @DollarViews and all those great things. If you just want to listen to us and you don't want to see our web presence, Google Play Music, iTunes Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podcat. And that's not to mention where we are personally. We both have Twitters. I'm Brian Gillis. That's BryonGillis. Steve is S_MTX. That's on Twitter. That's on Letterboxd. Letterboxd is basically like a film diary. You should check it out. LETTERBOXD. And they just did their first, 1 million movies have been logged now?
100 million.
Is it 100 million?
Movie logged, yeah. I think it's so, yeah.
That seems like it's
It's a
bullshit.
pretty big milestone, yeah.
I thought it was 1
No,
million.
for like movies logged. All right, let me pull it up right now just to settle this.
Because 100 million seems too many. Because I have like
So that's
25.
been around for at least 6 years now. So
Because I have 2,500 movies logged, which is above average for the site.
It's loading. It's loading. The
From-
internet is fucking slow, but it's loading, and 100 million.
That's crazy.
Yep.
To put that in perspective, we'll say the average person's seen 2,000 movies.
Well, I think they count rewatches too.
Oh,
That's
well,
the
that
weird
would be a
thing.
totally different thing.
Like, even if I have more than one viewing this
Oh,
year,
that's not-
it tells me that I watched, like, it counts that movie twice.
Well, that's
so.
not too bad. 100 million divided by 2,000, so the average person seeing that many, is only 500,000, which means that they have, on average, like 500,000 users, which isn't surprising. So, yeah, that's not bad. Well, that's the show. Thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully we'll be here next week, and if we're not, it's because we killed it. Have a good one.
Good night.